Tiger Woods.
Tiger Woods.
Tiger Woods.
And Tiger Woods.
Absolutely pure.
When Tiger Woods disappeared, golf's TV ratings, sponsorships, and cultural relevance disappeared with him. But there was one moment in history when even Tiger couldn't save golf. And that's the story we're really telling today. Because this isn't just the rise and fall of Tiger Woods. This is about what happened to an entire sport when the one man holding it together vanished. Again and again. It's about how one player became an entire economy, and how the vacuum he left behind opened the door for golf's biggest civil war. To understand why Tiger's absence hit so hard, you have to remember just how big he was at his peak. We're talking 82 official PGA Tour wins, tied for the most all time, 15 majors, second only to Jack Nicklaus, and a record stretch at world number one that doesn't even sound real. 281 consecutive weeks at the top at one point, and 683 total weeks as the best golfer on the planet. For over a decade, golf wasn't just a sport with a star, Tiger was the sport. TV networks knew it, sponsors knew it, tournament organizers definitely knew it. When Tiger played, ratings jumped by 30 to 35% on average. When he contended on Sunday, they didn't just bump, they exploded. Majors with Tiger in the hunt pulled double, sometimes nearly triple, the audience of the same events without him. A Tiger charge up the leaderboard could take a sleepy tournament and turn it into must-watch television. That's the Tiger effect. Not just more eyeballs, but a fundamentally different level of attention, from casual fans to people who didn't even know what a birdie was. The money followed. Prize purses ballooned across the late 90s and 2000s. Corporate deals poured in. Brands that had never cared about golf suddenly saw it as a way to reach younger, more diverse global audiences. Tiger didn't just cash the biggest endorsements the sport had ever seen, he dragged the entire tour pay scale up with him. People who never sniffed a Sunday pairing with him still got richer because he existed. Tour life, for a generation, was built on Tiger's back. Now imagine what happens when that pillar cracks. In November 2009, the image shattered. The late-night crash near his Florida home. The tabloid drip feed of infidelity stories. The sponsors quietly backing away. Overnight, Tiger stopped being golf's superhero and became scandal headline material. And for golf, the fallout was brutal. Networks that had built entire advertising packages around Tiger on Sunday suddenly had to sell a version of golf that looked like the 1980s again. Polite, slower, narrower. Ratings for majors without Tiger in serious contention tanked compared to the 2000s. Big events that had pulled monster numbers during his peak now looked ordinary. You could still fill a leaderboard with world-class talent, McIlroy, Mickelson, Els, Garcia, but you couldn't manufacture another Tiger. Sponsors felt it too. Deals shrank, new money cooled. Brands that had signed up for the Tiger era suddenly felt like they were paying for a different product. The sport that had become hot, edgy, and global quickly slid back toward niche. Golf didn't die, but it did something almost worse in TV terms. It got quieter. And just when it looked like Tiger might rebuild things, his body started breaking down. From 2014 to 2017, the back surgeries came one after another. Fusion procedures, long layoffs, mysterious withdrawals. Fans got used to press conferences where Tiger talked about hoping to be pain-free more than about winning. Some weeks he'd try to play and barely be able to bend over. Other weeks he just withdrew and disappeared again. For golf as a product, it was a nightmare. You couldn't reliably sell "Tiger is back" to sponsors or networks when his spine might say otherwise at any second. The 2014 and 2015 majors without a competitive Tiger saw viewership drops compared to his peak. The 2016 and 2017 US Opens, with Tiger completely absent, showed how fragile the sport's TV appeal was without him. Even when other stars played incredible golf, the numbers didn't match what they'd see if Tiger was in the hunt. Then came 2017 and the Jupiter, Florida DUI arrest. The video, the mugshot, the toxicology report showing a cocktail of painkillers and medications. It wasn't just a sports story. It was an "is this the end of Tiger Woods" story. For the first time, large chunks of the golf world started talking about his legacy in the past tense. Would he ever play again? Would he even walk normally? This is where the only time Tiger couldn't save golf starts to take shape. Because in earlier chapters, he always came back. After knee surgeries, after swing rebuilds, after 2009, he'd show up, win again, and drag the entire sport back into the spotlight by sheer force of talent and will. But post-2017, the damage wasn't just physical. Fans were older. Younger audiences were distracted by other sports, other screens, and soon, another league. And then, out of almost nowhere, 2019 happened. The 2019 Masters wasn't just a golf tournament. It was a cultural event. Tiger, fused back and all, walked into Augusta with more scar tissue than anyone knew. His last Masters win had been 14 years earlier. He hadn't won a major since 2008. Nobody, honestly, nobody outside of his loyalists, thought he was going to put 4 perfect days together. But he did. Patient Thursday, steady Friday, surging Saturday. And on Sunday, as the leaders faltered, Tiger didn't need to be the Superman of 2000 anymore. He just needed to be smarter. He plotted his way around Augusta, avoided disaster at 12 when others didn't, and suddenly he was the one with the lead walking up 18. The red shirt, the fist pump, the roar that sounded like 20 years of pent-up emotion from fans and haters alike. The numbers were insane. TV audiences spiked, up huge compared to recent Masters. One network recorded its best morning golf rating in over a decade. Other events where Tiger contended saw double-digit percentage jumps in viewership year over year. The Tiger effect wasn't just still alive, it was roaring. Golf, once again, felt like something the whole world was watching. For a moment, it seemed like Tiger had saved it again. But here's the twist. This time, the sport had already drifted too far into a new era to be fixed by one man's comeback. Because while Tiger was grinding his way back from surgeries, something else was happening in the background. The tour was addicted to the money he generated without building a replacement for his star power. Prize purses had grown, player expectations had grown. But the average TV rating without Tiger? Not so much. Enter the vacuum. LIV Golf didn't appear in a world where everything was healthy. It appeared in a world where the economic model of men's professional golf was under pressure. Traditional TV deals were flattening. Younger fans weren't glued to 5-hour broadcasts. Yet player pay had exploded because of that Tiger-fueled boom. When a new league showed up waving massive guaranteed contracts, it wasn't just about politics or loyalty. It was about money, leverage, and a system that had been built around one man for too long. The truth is harsh. The Tiger era was so dominant that it masked deep weaknesses in golf structure. When he wasn't there, they got exposed. The tour didn't cultivate enough stars who could move the needle anywhere close to his level. It didn't reinvent the format fast enough to appeal to modern audiences without relying on the Tiger is in contention safety net. It didn't redistribute enough of the money and power to make the middle of the pack feel secure. So when LIV arrived, a lot of players looked around and thought, if Tiger's not playing, what exactly are we turning down? And then, in 2021, everything got even more fragile. That February car crash in California looked, at first, less like a sports injury and more like a potential tragedy. The wreckage photos were brutal. Multiple leg fractures, shattered bone, complicated surgery to prevent amputation. This was bigger than golf. The fact that Tiger is even able to walk, let alone play limited competitive golf, is still something close to miraculous. But for the PGA Tour and its entire economy, the message was clear. There would be no more pretending that Tiger could carry them forever. Even as he shocked everyone again by returning at the 2022 Masters and later events on a limited basis, it was obvious this was a different phase. He was limping. He often needed a cart for practice. He'd gut out a cut, then withdraw later due to pain. The man who once played a US Open on a broken leg was now visibly human. The aura remained. The TV bump remained. But the idea that you could build the entire future of golf around him again? That died in that roadside ditch. Off the course, though, Tiger's role was only getting bigger. As LIV and the PGA Tour went to war, he wasn't just a spectator. He became one of the central figures in golf politics. He joined the PGA Tour Policy Board, one of the few player directors with real clout. When key players needed convincing to stick with the tour, Tiger was in the room, or on the call, urging unity, pushing for better deals, and demanding transparency from the commissioner and leadership. Tiger explodes onto the scene, drags golf out of the country club and onto primetime TV, and becomes bigger than the sport itself. A middle-aged Tiger breaks down, physically and personally, and every time he leaves, golf's ratings, relevance, and money leave with him. An older Tiger limps back into the frame, not as the savior on Sunday afternoons, but as the architect in the boardroom, trying to build a version of golf strong enough to survive what comes after him. In that sense, the only time Tiger Woods couldn't save golf is actually the only time he shouldn't. Because if golf really wants a future, it can't be a one-man economy forever. Yet here's the twist. Even now, when he barely plays, when he's rehabbing more than swinging, when he's saying no to captaincies and yes to governance calls, the sport still turns to him in every crisis. Media still ask him about LIV, about the tour's direction, about deals with Saudi money, about the next generation. Fans still tune in when he's on the broadcast, even if he's just talking, not playing. Tiger Woods may no longer be able to save golf by winning, but he can still save it by forcing it to change, by leveraging his influence to demand better structures, by refusing to just cash appearance fees, and instead sitting in rooms where the future is negotiated. The greatest player of all time spent 2 decades proving that golf needed him more than he needed golf. Now, in this final act, he's trying to make sure that's no longer true. So the real question isn't, can Tiger save golf one more time? It's, can golf finally learn to save itself? If you want more deep dive stories that look past the highlight reels and into how sports really work, the money, the politics, the human cost behind the headlines, make sure you subscribe, hit that notification bell, and share this video with someone who still thinks Tiger's story is just about swing changes and green jackets. Because the next time he walks away for good, we'll finally see whether golf built a future, or just rented one from Tiger Woods.